my Idoneth, I am, well, you can see what I've done so far. I've built, I got an eel here, and I've primed him with the Gray Seer, and you can see I put some painter's tape on the part of the base so that I'll have a little bit of the clear stem. If I don't like it, I'll redo it later. First thing I'm going to do here is shake the living garbage out of the Apothecary White. I'm going to be using this to just do the body of the eel. Not too worried about any mistakes. I've got some paint to cover that up. I got like a wash type brush. I don't know, I get my brushes for like this kind of work cheap from like any craft store. And I'm just going to go ahead and go over this whole thing. Just get some nice color down. I'm going to try to do just a section at a time, make that look real nice, and then I'll go on to the next. The skin's all done on this one. As you can see, it's still wet. And from what I found with these guys, or actually the contrast paints, is you really need to let them dry in between times. So I am going to let this guy fully dry, and I'm going to be painting the other eels up. I'm doing a set of 3. This is what I have set up to do for my Deepkin. I have more, but this is what I have primed so far. And like I said, I'm using the Gray Seer to work on these. So I'm going to work on some more of this skin, and we'll get back to you in a little bit. I'm on the 3rd one. I guess I'll describe a little bit more about what I'm doing. So I'm definitely being fairly careful, trying to just avoid getting the paint on the other areas as much as I can, and trying not to gloop it on. So it's a fine mix, but the paint goes on really easily, and I can avoid most details, except right there, and then I just wipe it off if I hit the detail. With this light color, it comes right off. So, and like I said, I'm just trying to get in all the nooks and crannies for this little beastie, while still going as fast as I can here. Not even really having to worry about the brush strokes, especially around this gold. I'm going to be doing gold here, so I'm not too worried about slopping it on the gold a little bit. The gold is one of the only contrast paints, paints that are not going to be contrasted I'll be using here. I'll be using a special Vallejo gold because it's amazing. I'm also going to be doing my alopexes with the same skin tone. With these guys, their skin is very smooth. So we're just going to try even coat as we can, and doing small areas so we can try to catch any glooping. We do not want that at all for this part. It will really make these guys not look great if we start getting some tea staining and stuff like that. So less paint, and then I'm adding a little bit more if I think it needs it here. Much lighter touch on these alopexes to make them look better. Alopex has been base coated with the same as the eels. It looks pretty good. Not too much tea staining, so that's great. I'm also going to do the seahorse skin here. Not quite sure how we want to do the scales up here. I might just do an extra coat. I might use the red on there, so I'm not really certain how I'm going to do that. We'll figure that out as we go. I decided to go over the whole horse scales. We're still going to do the fins with the highlight color. Yeah, that's what it looks like so far. We're going to do the turtlenecks, and I'm swearing at myself. Before contrast came out, I was just going to do an airbrush of these guys. So they're actually going to be primed black. But then I was like, no, let's do contrast and see how it looks. So yeah, now I have to paint this guy with these guys all fully built. Not super excited about it, but we're going to make it work. Turtle's skin basically done. Next thing we're going to do is use our Gilliam flesh, and we're going to do the skin tone. Since the eels are still dry, we're going to work on the elves. Fresh out of my cheap paint pot, my cheap paint brushes. We're just going to get some paint on, and we're going to go. Got a little bit too much there. A quick application of the Gilliman flesh. It looks pretty good. A flesh tone of some sort. And I had the wherewithal and smarts not to put all of the people from the turtle onto the turtle. So I got to do some of those. I'm going to go through and do all the rest of the flesh. Flesh is done on all these guys. I think we're going to go to the next color, which is going to be Blood Angels Red. And we're going to start doing all of the fin details. Here we go, just putting the final touches on here. You can see that Blood Angels Red makes that really pop right there. I'm doing a little extra detail on these. I kind of think I need to break up the skin a little bit, so I'm putting just a couple of little dots around the fins, a couple of places up here, to make it kind of look a little bit more interesting. I like it. Here's kind of like what that treatment looks like now for him. I think it's a little bit more visually interesting now with those little spots on him. It's looking pretty good on this guy. Put a little bit more of the spotting to make it look a little bit more interesting. I think it looks good. This part's going to be annoying. I'm going to try to do the upper shell with the red, and really wish I wouldn't have glued all that on. Here's the work I got done on him. I got most of it underneath. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to grab Skeleton Horde and we're going to do strappies. I already started doing the straps on here. I also did the little writing thing for them. I don't know, some of the things that they're writing on. Just to start filling that out some more. I'm going to be adding browns to the saddle and things like that. But we're going to work on the bones and straps now. We're going to take a look at putting the Skeleton Horde on all the straps and on the legs of everybody. And the little pole. And you can see, I'm going to go ahead and start working on these other ones. We've got all the pieces that we want to do with Skeleton Horde done. Now we're going to move on to the gold. We'll be right back. I've been working that Skeleton Horde. You can see on this guy, I've done a whole bunch. The Howdah is going to be base color, and then I'm going to be doing all the gold with it. I am going to be doing the gold, and the gold I'm going to be using is Vallejo Liquid Gold. Now this is a special paint. I actually don't use my regular brushes with it. That's why I get those cheapo brushes, because it's a very wackadoodle paint. It is basically you need mineral spirits to dilute and clean your dilute the paint and actually clean your brushes with this. It's a little bit more, it says odorless, yeah, right. So you got to make sure that you are in a little bit better ventilated area, but the stuff goes on like butter. So I'm going to go ahead and start applying this to the models. What I typically do is I'll have 2 little containers. You can see I've got some gold in here already. Put some mineral spirits in here. Put the gold in here, and then just work through it and get the paint consistency right, and it goes right on. Super nice. Got some El Cheapo brushes to do it with, and I'll show you what it looks like. Now we've got the gold on. What we're going to do next is the armor that's on the eel we're actually going to wash with the Blood Angels Red, and it's going to give us a really cool look. I've already done that with the shark, and you can see I've kept some of the armor a regular gold, but the armor on the shark for the most part has been washed with the Blood Angels Red, and that's what we're going to do with the rest of this stuff. As you can see, went through and got gold on everything. The next step, like I said, we're going to selectively put Blood Angels Red on the gold. Now, only gold I'm going to use the Blood Angels Red for is actually pretty much mostly the mounts, the head fins, and any other decorations I feel like doing. And it's not going to take very long. After we do that, I'm actually going to use Reikland Flesh Shade on the rest of the gold. Actually, I probably will do this first on the area, on some of the stuff. Yeah, let's do Reikland Flesh Shade next on the regular armor, and then I'll go ahead and do the other gold, the red afterwards, because I want it, like on these fins, I want those to be shaded before I put the red in them. So we'll do Reikland next, and we'll be back with that step. We've gone in with the gold and highlighted the areas that I wanted with the Reichland Flesh shade. And then we're going to go in with the red afterwards. Make it look even prettier on the armor bits that I want to be shiny. So again, it'll look just like these shiny edges here. Painting the reds on the armor. You can see, cool metallic look. I put it on the fins, this back plate, the front plates. Now we're ready for the next part. The next part that we're going to be doing is going to be painting the darker straps and things like that. We're actually going to use a non-contrast, non-wash Dryad bark just because I have it and I wanted to make something a little bit darker on there. So Dryad, we'll be back in a little bit. So I got the brown bits done on these guys, and I actually went ahead and started doing the silver, which is just this Vallejo Game Air silver. We are putting the silver wherever we want silver. Now we got the brown down, and once the brown dries, we are going to go ahead and wash both the silver and the brown. We're going to be using, you can use any brown or black wash. I'm going to be using Army Painter Strong and Dark Tone. Dark Tone for the silver, Strong Tone for the brown. Silver's all washed with the Dark Tone. Now we're going to wash the straps with the Strong Tone. Couple last steps. I'm going to be using Magos Purple in the mouths. So you can see I've done that a little bit here. And then I'm going to put a little bit of white on the teeth. And then for the horn, I just did the contrast orange. So you can see that here. And they're basically done. I just got to do their mouths, like I said, and their teeth. Pretty simple scheme. Looks pretty cool, though. Really like how this turtle came out. Super nifty. Let's see. I really like the scheme. Now I got to figure out how I want to base everything.